The ultimate showdown. 2 writers, 2 fanfiction scripts. And only you can choose which one wins. It's the fanfiction showdown.
Hello and welcome to Fanfiction Showdown. I'm Ben O'Brien. Fanfiction Showdown, if you don't know, is an epic show of immense proportion. It's a battle of 2 fanfiction writers' scripts, okay, and they battle to the death. And only one comes out victorious. How do we decide who wins? Great question. You decide. That's right, chat. At the end of the show, you get to decide who wins, all right? So stick around, stay tuned, keep watching, don't leave, because today we're doing World War I, okay? In case you weren't living in enough of a hellscape, we thought it would be fun to fictionalize one of the worst things that's ever happened in the history of the world, the Great War. Chat's already going off. Everybody really loves me. They think I dressed really nicely today.
I think you're great, Ben. I think you're doing great. I think
Thanks,
you're
Robby.
You're coming out clearly.
Robby, don't talk
really...
until. Thank you. I love you. You're saying nice things, but don't talk until I introduce you.
Well, I don't see the chat.
Being quiet is a form of manipulation, because I've been thinking about what you've been saying, and so I know that talking is good.
I agree completely that that's a form of manipulation, but I also think it's manipulating to interrupt people. So I am talking. KP Senti says Ben is Bay in the chat. Thank you, KP Senti. Okay.
KP Senti's in the chat.
Okay, this is not just some creepy guy's fan fiction show off the street. Okay, this is a professional fan fiction showdown of Adult Swim.
Wait, I was told this would be creepy.
No, it's not. It's
not creepy.
Adult
it's
Swim show.
Accurate.
Adult Swim is a network in its later years. It's a network that, imagine, like a grandfather he's not doing great.
A creepy grandfather? Is it a creepy grandfather?
That's kind of Adult Swim. And so we have to be we're very professional in the show, and it's a special show. And so that's why we have a special guest. And so I'd like to introduce to you today. She's an award-winning art critic, whatever that means. And she is one of Vulture's comedians you should know. If you read Vulture, you may have heard of her. It's Christina Catherine Martinez. Welcome to the show, Christina Catherine Martinez.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for all of this.
Cool. You
Christina Catherine
couldn't
Martinez,
quite come up with 2 things to thank you for.
We couldn't do the show without you. It's here today, gone tomorrow. But you're here now, and that's all that matters.
Why,
Christina, don't let him get to you.
Okay.
I think you're doing an amazing job. I'm a big fan of yours. I'm happy you're on the show.
Thank you. As an award-winning art critic, I'm really used to like 2 white guys talking over each other and not really saying anything. So I feel at home. Thank you very much.
You're gonna fit right in.
I take that as a compliment, and
I know you do. I know you do.
Thank you. So what I hear from that is something.
I'm gonna walk over to your house. I'm gonna punch you in the face.
Thank you.
I know you're not far away. I know
in
you're
your
not
voice,
far away.
I'm hearing you're appreciative. So
you're welcome.
Passion.
We enjoy the passion. We enjoy the laughs. We're big fans. We've always been big fans. Christina Catherine Martinez, big round of applause in the chat for you and
for Christina Catherine Martinez. She's got 3 names, like a very conservative senator or an assassin. So we love that about Christina Catherine Martinez. Now let's introduce our first contestant. He's the oldest guy I know. He's the oldest friend I've ever had.
Robby got to go first last week.
Oh, okay. This is our next. The contestant that we're doing today has one of the best hair waves I've seen in a while. She's one of my closest friends. She's a genius and also created this show. She's a beautiful in heart and mind. Welcome to the show, Cricket Harris.
Couldn't even hold the laugh in.
Thank you for complimenting my hair. It is a point of pride. And I appreciate you complimenting my hair most of all, because I know it's a sore point for you. Really happy to be here on the show. Really love World War I. Can't get enough of World War I. birth of modernism, one of the historical events that we're still wrestling with today. Think about the intersection of modern technology and ancient technology all coming together on one battlefield where most of Europe's men laid down their lives, and then America swooped in and pretended that they did a good job, better than everyone.
Hey, Cricket, thank you so much for telling us about World War One. People are really,
Can I take off my shirt? Woo!
Yes,
really
you can do whatever you want, Christina.
Everyone's really proud of their knowledge on this show of things that other people don't know about, and there's a reason other people don't know about it, because it's boring. All right, next up is our contestant. He's the oldest guy I know. He's the oldest friend I have. He still looks great. He still looks young. He just had a kid in his later years, which who knows why. Welcome to the show, Big Bobby Racklev, aka Robby.
So glad to be here with you at the end of all things, as we look out on the great battlefield of our time, and we see the approaching storm, the approaching cloud of dust and smoke and ash. The ash of history approaches slowly, and we are resolved to it. We are resolved. We stand waiting patiently for the death that we know is coming.
Great, Robby. That's well said. And I couldn't have said it better myself. We are at the end of our lives. So let's get on with the show. But before we do, we have the worst part of the show, the pre-showdown event. It's called the drawings.
Okay.
Let's check out the drawings from Robby and Cricket.
Okay, let's do Robby's first.
Okay, let's do Robby's first.
Now, for the viewers at home, you have to know that the drawings do not mean anything.
Exactly.
They're meaningless.
Don't take them into account when you vote.
They mean something to me.
Actually,
as an award-winning art critic.
Thank you, Cricket. Yes, go with it.
So,
give us
as award-winning art critic,
as
Robby
an award-winning
Racklev
art critic,
once said, the drawing. I do not have a drawing this week. I decided to. The best way to represent World War I, the best way to celebrate the lives of those who were lost in that horrible conflict, the great conflagration of 1914 to 1918. Was to just read aloud the names of the dead, starting with the Australians. And if we could all just take a moment of silence, it's gonna take a while to get through. Right. So let's just dive right on.
I think we should go for it. Honestly, let's do it.
You know what? No joke. That's
it's
brilliant.
the only way. It's the only proper way to honor these wonderful people who laid down their lives.
Okay, well maybe before we do that, we should see my drawing, because I think it's actually maybe like a more proper way to honor.
I don't think that is correct.
I will say I'm always on the side of women who have always been.
Sure.
But, like, I will say that I do.
Okay,
I'm very impressed by the nature of doing an immaterial piece to reflect.
Christina, I love that you and Cricket have this, or you're creating this bond with Cricket, but you really need to get to know Cricket before you start to say
anything nice.
Okay, say anything nice about her, because you really got to get to know her before, because you might end up realizing that I'm a little bit, actually in this group, a little more oppressed. So go ahead, Robby.
She's got a knife's edge. She's pointy. She's got a knife's edge. She'll cut you up. And if Cricket can show her drawing, and then I'll read the names of the ward.
Cricket.
Okay, I don't have a knife's edge. I just have a heart full of love for all of my friends,
and it cuts you
for
until
doing the show and everyone who watches. So let's see my World War I drawing, please.
All right, explain that.
Okay, so what I've actually done here is taken a piece of existing art that you might remember from our Sesame Street episode. Okay. And I have sort of done like a pop art commentary on it by placing World War I on the head of the monster that's eating the cookie that is sort of the, I think of the cookie as the time in the past where we didn't have to think about these horrific things, sort of like a gentler, more naive time. So
what I think is great about this is, as Christina will know, that you don't actually have to make good art as long as you know how to talk about it for a really long time. And you don't have to try to work hard as long as you can just talk about it forever. That means it's pretty good.
Yeah,
so great job, Cricket. You recycled something I did, and
I recontextualized something you did.
I think there's a lot of really good postmodern gestures happening on both sides.
Thank you.
Well, there's
Thank
nothing
you, that's great.
modern about reading the names of the war dead. So let's
Maybe
I
you
just
should
wanna
ask
remind everyone.
Right. Robbie,
This
I'm
is
sorry to
Adult
say.
Swim's
Frankly,
Adult
Beckett,
Swim's only
8th Australian Light
postmodern
Horse
fan
Regiment.
fiction
Edward
show.
Is this going to be on the Whitney's website
44th
later? Is this where this
Australian
ends up?
Infantry
Is the Whitney
Battalion.
going to put this up like on a Zoom link for
This
their?
is going to
I don't
be
know how to pronounce this
projected
next one.
onto a Christo
It's-
sculpture that is going to
Okay.
wrap
It
the
sounds
world.
relatively. It sounds like it
whole
could be a
world.
German name. It's Onsen. Carl
All right,
Onsen.
Robbie, that's
4th
great, and I
Australian
think that's
Machine
all.
Gun Battalion. Harold Aarons, 4th Australian Light Horse Regiment.
Robbie, I love the sentiment, and we got a few of those names
All right,
in
well,
there, and
that's great.
we got to move forward. So I love what you're doing, though.
I'll just, with your leave, Ben, since you are the owner of you boss the show around, I will be reading names out throughout the entirety of the show.
Okay, great. And
And then
okay, so
I think the transcript will end up on a T-shirt at MoMA. That's
at
the-
some point,
Yes.
you will be
Okay.
able to get the moment T-shirt, but everyone needs to shut up because now we
Christina,
have
will
to
you-
do. Shut the fuck up. Okay, so now we have to
I just
do.
wanted to talk to my friend.
Okay, like I said, this isn't
talk
this
later.
isn't just some guy. It's just some you go up to someone on the street, he shows you his dick, and this is his fan fiction show. This is a professional fan fiction show on a website that will last forever. This website, the website that you are on, is going nowhere. Make it your homepage because it's coming back. It's never going anywhere. It's the most stable thing in my life, so it can't. So anyway, my point is, this is Fan Fiction Showdown on Adult Swim. This is a big network. They don't just take shit away. So it's the rule. So this show has rules.
And you know who else is not going anywhere? John Fullerton Aarons, 16th Australian Infantry Battalion.
Robbie, no one remembers them and no one's sad anymore. So just stop.
The Australians will be getting through the entirety
Robbie,
of the
you're
Allied powers, and then
inventing
we will-
something to be sad about. There's plenty of people. It's not noble. There's 10 more wars since then. Everyone's sad about that stuff. No one cares about these guys. Okay, anyway. So first rule is the characters have to be soldier, commanding officer, and Winston Churchill. Now you might think Winston Churchill, he's World War II, but guess what? I just found out today he's also in World War I. All right, next rule, number 1, the line, "This is World War I," is said. Number 2, someone uses Battle of the Bulge as a euphemism.
For what?
We don't know.
For anything.
So you might have noticed that I kept the Sopranos font from last week. All right, rule number 3, the trench is actually pretty nice. We like the trench.
Love it.
4, everyone tries to figure out which side Italy is on. This is a funny one if you know anything about World War I, which I do not.
It is very funny.
It's
because
really
there's
funny.
actually
Vibes.
2 jokes that you could.
I'll take your word
Right,
for
I
it.
love that. We love that. Okay, so 5, soldier, when describing a maneuver or strategy, describes Seinfeld. And that could be an episode. That could be the guy himself who, remember, dated a 16-year-old. He was 40. 6, soldier reads bad poetry they wrote. 7, Churchill suggests a beach to land on. That's a bad idea. That's bad idea. Same thing. 8, Churchill eats his stogie. And there's this new rule that I added after the scripts had been written. A mean thing is said about the French. So we'll see if this is the first time I've ever added a rule. I added an 11th hour rule to this one after the scripts were written. So we're going to see if they get the rules.
This
So
is just like
this is
World
time-
War One,
it's
where
time-
the
this is a
rules
betrayal.
kept shifting and people's
Yes,
lives were
exactly.
on the
And this
line.
is betrayal. This is betrayal of the memory of Maurice Lewis Aarons of the
Yes.
16th Australian
Okay,
Infantry Battalion.
no one, even his own family wouldn't recognize his name. Okay, so what I'm saying is it's time for the coin flip.
Oof.
I have a coin this week, but it's the same on both sides.
Time is coming. Coin flip. Time is coming.
Whoever goes
it's
first gets
coming.
Belgium. That's
It's cricket.
another fun.
It's not very funny.
It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Don't make World War I in jokes because I guarantee you the mouth breathers in the chat know nothing about the fucking war.
But
Well,
they will
they're going
know
to
a little
at
bit
the
about
end of my script.
Alexander Thomas Abbasi of the 6th Australian Infantry Battalion. Go ahead.
So
All right.
if we can all take out my script, Ben, I would love it if you would read the stage directions.
I would love that.
Robbie, I wrote a really meaty part for you as Winston Churchill, if you would.
Absolutely, I'd be honored to serve to serve the script as the former First Lord of the Admiralty,
Okay,
Winston
great.
Church.
Thank you. And Christina, if you could be commanding officer, and I'm going to play soldier. So my script is called Joy to the World War One. And Ben, whenever you're ready, take it away, Ben.
Thank you so much, Cricket, and I'm excited to read your script.
Are they all British?
You know what? That I'm gonna leave that. That's an acting choice. That's not something a writer would think about. Actually, that's like really more of a
That's true.
performer's choice.
Writers don't do that kind of research.
Yeah.
All right, Eric, get us in that room, buddy. Foggy London street. Sputtering gas lamps do nothing to quell the gloom. A cool typewriter effect types London, December 23rd, 1916 across the screen. Around the corner staggers a bulbous man in a top hat and tails. Unsteady on his feet, he pauses to cling to mailboxes, fences, and passing carriages. Oh shit, it's Winston Churchill. He's so drunk.
Dardanelles, everyone's mad at me because of one teeny tiny mistake. We all make mistakes.
Winston Churchill grabs the head of passerby and screams in her face.
We all make mistakes. Your whole face is a mistake, madam. Why are they mad at me for a teensy-eensy little battle that didn't go exactly right? Gallipoli! More like Gallic on me.
Is this the beach that or no, he didn't suggest it. That's just
No, that's just an actual beach he invaded, and it went really
I know
badly.
that. Yeah, we don't need the details.
This is like a World War
You can,
One
like,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
fan fiction script, so there's like
I
a
don't
little
need
bit
the-
about World War One.
I don't need the
in here.
details. I don't need the
Like,
details. I don't want the details.
Yes,
Okay.
we
I
have
don't
the
want- I don't care about the details.
The details are the names Edmund Aberton.
I don't care
No,
about that.
Robby, you're performing right now. If you could stay in character, think
Okay.
method.
I mean,
You're
okay.
the boss,
Okay,
Cricket.
let's get back in it. We all make mistakes. All right, more like Gallic on me. That's
I
great.
don't. Go ahead.
A woman screams and runs away.
That's right. Run away. Just like our soldiers, just because half the fleet got blown up, they all run away. Little babies love their shippy ships. Gashipoli. Gashitoli. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Just then, Winston teeters. He looks for something to grab onto, but finds nothing and crashes down in a heap. With a final wheeze, he vomits and passes out. Fade out. The next day, December 24th, Christmas Eve, 1916. The camera blinks unsteadily, struggling to focus. We're in some sort of bright room, but it's unidentifiable. Finally, Winston Churchill comes into focus. He's lying on a plush bed shaped like a giant sleigh. Red velvet and ermine comforters surround him. We see him take in his surroundings. He gasps.
Where am I?
Just then, with the sound of a trumpet and explosion of glitter and feathers, a small elf appears and boing, boing, boings all along the bed to land on Winston Churchill's chest.
It wakes up! It wakes up! Good morning, Winston Churchill. I'm Commanding Officer Elf.
What are you? Get off of me. Get off of me this minute.
Winston Churchill swipes at the elf with a meaty paw. They go flying into the nearby wall, but immediately bounce off of with a loud sproing sound and a giggle, landing back on Winston Churchill's chest with twice as much force.
We don't have time for war ball today, Winston Churchill. We've got to get to work.
To work. Didn't you hear? I was fired. I used to be Secretary of the Navy, First Lord of the Admiralty, and now I'm nothing. All because of one tiny battle where 250,000 of our soldiers died, as if it's some kind of a problem when people die in war.
You're not nothing anymore, Winston Churchill. You're Santa Claus now.
I'm wild.
Commanding Officer Elf holds up a mirror to Winston Churchill's face. White hair begins to push out of his head, growing rapidly. A chest-length white beard pops out of his face with a single pasproish sound. Pasproish. With an ear-piercing scream, Winston Churchill faints. Fade back up on the... Is it Churchill or Churchill?
Churchill.
You kind of hit the L.
Churchill. Well, I know you pronounce
The
the
Sermon
L.
on the Mount,
It's more,
the
is it
Church on a
Churchill or
Hill.
Churchill?
Yeah.
It's
The Churchill.
All right, fade back up on the bedroom. Commanding Officer Elf is holding a wet cloth on the head of Winston Churchill, who looks green. His eyes flutter open.
I'm sorry, Winston Churchill. Churchill. But we really don't have time to lose. It's Christmas Eve, and the sleigh sets out in 8 hours.
There has to be some kind of a mistake. I'm not Santa.
This year you are, motherfucker. Sorry. Every year, God picks the worst man to be Santa. And this year, it's you. It's some kind of last-ditch effort to teach you about love.
Love. This is a nightmare. I need a smoke.
Winston Churchill begins to light up his stogie. Just then, a weird, depressing little voice comes from somewhere nearby.
You're not supposed to smoke that in here.
From around the corner. Oh, sorry. Commanding Officer Elf.
Oh.
You have a line.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it. I was
it's okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
I'm really
We'll
pretty. I got distracted by my
I
own self-image
completely
pathology.
understand.
It's not. It's hard being a woman in this modern society, especially
Yes.
during lockdown. We're just confronted with our
Men
own
are-
image all the time, and it's
That's
kind of
great, but I
Absolutely.
It's hard
And
to
it
be
was
the
also-
true self and not a
men are all-
representation of
this.
this. Like, where does the
Yes.
line between me as an image and me as an actor and me as a person? You know, when does
Girl.
Yes, I
girl.
understand.
Same
I understand
question.
And it's also
Same
hard to be
question.
Leslie John Aberton.
All right,
Okay,
Robbie.
all right, Robbie. Okay, let's take it back.
Let's take it back.
so
yeah.
back? Take it back to. I
I'm
can
gonna-
just do my line. I could just.
I'm
do
gonna
this
take it
line.
back to my line, actually, if that's okay.
Yeah,
so
go
that
ahead, do your line.
a weird, depressing little voice comes from somewhere nearby. You're not supposed to smoke that in here.
Oh, God, I hate that.
Oh boy.
From around the corner of the bedpost peeks a toy soldier. A bunch of his own fingers are in his mouth. His eyes and nose are crusty and red. He sucks so bad we hate him. I didn't write that part. That's in the script.
Who the hell are you? It'll take a lot more than a teeny tiny soldier to stop me from smoking my stogie.
I wouldn't break the rules if I were you.
Winston Churchill lights his cigar. Just as he puts it to his lips, the soldier takes out his toy gun and fires it at Winston Churchill. Rather than hitting him with a bullet, it hits him with a mind control spell. Winston Churchill seizes his stogie and begins to eat it, gobbling it down greedily. Then he snaps out of it and clasps his hand over his mouth.
Oh, what the hell? How did you?
I told you not to break the rules. When I'm around, you can't break the rules, Santa.
Who the hell is this guy?
You're not supposed to say hell in the North Pole.
The soldier begins raising his rifle.
I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Oh, Winston Churchill. You see, I'd hoped to appeal to your sense of holiday spirit to get you to deliver the presents, but failing that, this shitty guy's here to make sure the job gets done.
The commanding officer, Elf, looks at his watch.
My goodness, we have to get down to the workshop. We're about halfway through Christmas Eve.
And that's the mid-script break, everybody. Let's go.
Pretty-
Let's
How's it going so far? What do you guys
Pretty
think?
good.
Is it good?
It's-
Going pretty good?
I feel like we're getting through the list of.
Robbie,
the
Do you
Well,
get
yeah.
that Winston
Robbie, when-
Churchill is made Santa?
I didn't actually catch that part, but that now makes everything make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Cricket. I couldn't
I
pick
thought it was
that up.
weird that he was acting like Santa, but I didn't really quite get that he.
He got made Santa, actually,
the
because
ma-
every
got made
year
into the Santa.
there's actually a line about this. God picks the worst man to be Santa every year.
I
So-
wish
Yeah.
that God had picked
Right.
Ernest Abbey,
Robbie,
of the 60th
Robbie,
Australian
look,
Infantry.
you're not allowed to look at that screen anymore. Every time you look over to your left, I know you're about to read the names. So
How
we're
do you
gonna
know that? I could
because
be
that's
looking-
where I think you put the names on your second screen.
Well,
but you
my
have this-
allergy spray is also over there, so
and it's a allergy spray that works by looking at it.
no, it's an allergy spray that reminds me of the name of Harold Claude Abbey of the 14th
I don't-
Australian.
Okay, all right.
I'm
all
sorry,
right.
Battalion.
Ben, this is really like a time to reflect on my script.
Oh, you're right,
halfway
you're
through,
right,
and
you're right,
I
you're right,
respect the dead, but I respect myself more.
No, that's cool.
Really-
Just interrupt me interrupting
Can I
Robbie
just-
reading
Yeah,
dead
Can I
names.
just
Cricket.
add a
really
note?
cool.
I just
Yes.
add a note. I think it was really nuanced acting choice on my part to do sort of a
Good
Cockney
point.
accent.
Oh
and
my
bring
gosh,
in-
I couldn't agree
Bring in
more.
the class element, which is
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
can't
The
believe that you
subtext.
picked up on that subtlety in the writing
Yes.
so
Yeah.
quickly.
It's
You're
because,
a very
like-
gifted
I think
performer.
Yeah.
it was a big
Yes.
leap at first to choose the British accent, assuming that you assumed that you were the British soldier, and it just was a big jump for me. But I'm glad you're rolling with it because it's
She's
it's
commanding
unethical.
officer.
Yeah, I'm a
Elf.
commanding
It's,
officer. Was it a big?
It's wrong.
What,
and,
here's my
you should
question.
be-
Would it be? Is it such a big jump for you, Robbie, to just like try to do a British accent? Like, can we ask that much vulnerability from you here?
Yes.
It's too much to ask.
Yes to both of your questions.
Cool.
They cancel each other out, so I get to do it.
So I get that. I didn't know this was a cool show. It's a cool show where we don't try. We don't try to make
Right.
things.
Well,
nice
some of
for
us
each
do.
other.
Yes,
I
thank
think
you.
that
Thank you for
my-
noticing that, and thank you for.
I was wondering if now that we've complimented Christina, we could compliment me on my acting.
Oh, the
Well,
You're
mouth.
doing a
This-
great job. The soldier is depressing.
Like, that's a
It's-
strong
Strong
choice.
choice. This is a strong
I,
choice.
I think
you.
it would
Wrong.
only be right. I think we should take back those compliments. I think it would only be right to give Cricket compliments once we've heard the whole script because
Okay. No, I accept
we
that.
might regret immediately what we've said, and you can't take a compliment back after a certain amount of time. So let's get back to that script.
Let's get back to script. Continues.
I had to.
All right, interior. We're in Santa's workshop. If you're just tuning in, Winston Churchill was made Santa. Okay, a team of elves are loading up the sleigh. All of the presents are loaded up except one big bag with a tag on it that says Italy. Winston Churchill is standing nearby with commanding officer Elf and soldier.
There's one more reason you got to be picked to be Santa this year, Winston Churchill. In addition to being the worst man in the world.
Oh, what's that?
Well, no one can remember which side Italy is on, and we have to get them their presents.
They're
All right. Sorry, that's your line, Robbie. Go ahead, take your line.
Thank you, Ben. They're
Robbie, if you could go ahead and just do the Winston Churchill lines, and I will stick to the stage direction.
Ben, this is a great script.
Good job, Ben, and good job, Robbie.
The best so far.
Thanks, Robbie.
If you could just
Ben.
take it from the top of page 5, then the line, the Winston Churchill line.
They're either the triple entendre or the triple alliance. Which one's the Axis? I think the other one's the Axis.
Wait a minute! Isn't there some rhyme like, by England's side is Italy, so don't throw a fitily? Or with it, England's foe is Italy, so don't throw a fitily?
I think they're on the bad side.
Yes, but which one is the bad side? This is World War One.
That's a ding. That's a ding.
I know. I put it up for the ding.
I just want to point it out that that's the ding. I think that's
thank
great.
you, Robbie.
I don't know why Eric hasn't hit the ding sound, but
It's okay,
I think he should
it
get
is a ding.
I think Eric should honestly get fired. Okay, go
ahead. From your line, Christina. It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah.
This is kind of the moral heart. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just want to say this is kind of the moral heart of the piece. So
go ahead.
Yeah, I think
Take
it's
your time.
important to also just say it before it happens too. This is the okay.
This is World War One, all caps. And the question of who's bad has geopolitical implications that I think will resonate throughout the rest of this century. And
Who cares about any of that crap? Let's just get in the sleigh and can figure it out as we go.
okay, but you know what happens if you don't get the presents to everyone?
I don't actually. What happens?
Let's just call it the Battle of the Bulge.
Everyone looks at the shitty little toy soldier for a long time. Winston Churchill looks like he's going to ask what he means, but commanding officer Elf puts out a hand to stop him. Another moment of awkward silence.
This is the look that he's given the soldier, the toy soldier.
This is the hand.
Okay, well, let's get going.
They set off in the sleigh and fly south. We see a montage of Winston Churchill delivering presents in front of many world historic sites. The Taj Mahal, the Arc de Triomphe. We see him hand a big fish with a bow on it to a whale in the middle of the Arctic Ocean. We see him swoop into an orphanage and give all the crying children presents and then swoop out again. Even though they are all still crying because he hasn't actually done anything to address their structural problems.
That's really a Winston Churchill kind of move.
I love that because
so we know. Yeah.
yes, because it's about it's
it's World
presents
War I.
don't solve needs. The pile of toys in the sleigh grows smaller and smaller as Winston Churchill Santa delivers them to happy children everywhere. Finally, the sleigh is empty.
You know, I was skeptical about the whole Santa thing,
uh-huh.
but seeing the smile on those children's faces, it warms the heart. I can't thank you enough.
Oh, Winston Churchill, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Perhaps you really have learned the meaning of love. And...
Excuse me.
What? I was giving my speech about the power of love.
What are you sitting on, Winston Churchill?
Sitting? Me? Oh, no, I'm not sitting on anything.
You're not allowed to lie to me.
Whoa. The shitty soldier takes his rifle out and shoots Winston Churchill with it. As the spell hits him, Winston Churchill jumps up and begins to eat another one of his stogies. Underneath where Winston Churchill was sitting is the bag labeled Italy.
You lied to me, Winston Churchill. You know what I think about liars?
Oh, no.
What I think about liars can only be expressed in poetry. Don't lie to-
I don't know
this
why I was
is
about
my-
to read your own. Cricket, you go ahead and read. Can you read the soldier parts and I'll
Yes,
read
I
the-
was just.
Yeah,
This
also-
is like I was just about to read my poem, and you just
There's
like
nothing
and
wrong
that's
with
interrupted
reading.
me.
and that's why I think it's most important for you to stick to the soldier lines because I should
Okay.
just stay with the.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
Ben, you're playing
Ben's
you're
right.
playing a supporting role, and if you have some sort of unexpressed need to be an actor, you should.
Well, I actually
say it.
wrote a really amazing part for Ben last week that he
Yeah.
knocked it out of the
You
park.
did.
with.
It
So
was
maybe
great.
he's
I
just
knocked it out of the
like-
park, and that was last
That's
week. So
amazing.
go
That's
ahead, Cricket.
amazing.
I
Okay,
do
but
feel like
you guys are
Christina's in a war with me
Okay.
because she has not been addressing me directly very much, and that feels passive aggressive.
Okay, well it's my
I didn't
script.
write the.
All right,
And
go
I-
ahead, Cricket. And
Okay,
we're
I'm
gonna let
gonna take
Cricket
it
have
back.
their big moment. So
Have
go
a big
ahead
moment.
and take it away, Cricket.
Okay.
At the
so
line, what I think. Go ahead.
What I think
Go ahead,
about
Cricket.
Thank you.
what I think about liars can only be expressed in poetry. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. If you lie to me, I'll make you wish you hadn't lied to me. Do you like my poetry, Winston Churchill?
Yes.
You
Yes, I
just-
do.
You just lied to me again. Here's my strategy to punish you. I'm gonna make you fight a war about nothing. A whole war about nothing. And you're gonna have to fight that war for years. And everyone around you is going to be talking about it endlessly, even though nothing ever happens in it. And all the people in it will be really mean, and they'll fight about petty stuff and think it makes them cool. And your friends will like it, and you won't. This is your curse.
Wait.
I would
Not
argue
bad.
that was the soldier describing Seinfeld.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that, but I do
That's
think
pretty
that
good.
poem was almost
I
good, but
just-
we're gonna figure that out after. We think that might have been a good poem,
I
but
creamed. Let the record show there is stuff in my chonies now,
Okay.
and I'm not going to
That's-
check what it is till after the show.
I don't know
Maybe that
what any
gets
of
the
those
big
words
thing.
that
You got
Christina
the big
Catherine
thing. Decide who
Martinez
wins.
just said, but they
Okay.
inspired. It's inspiring to hear the positivity, the Seinfeld interpretation. I
we
think
have to
is rock
go.
solid.
Okay,
We have to
I
move
got-
forward. We're running out of time, Robbie. Go. We got to speed through.
So Soldier says this is your curse.
This is your curse.
Wait, not that. I can deliver the presents. We'll just land on that beach. That's where Italy is.
Winston,
Oh, he froze.
He's gonna be back. He always comes back.
Yeah, it's comes back. This is, but you know who's not coming back is Charles Edgar
Oh
Abbott of
no
the
no
11th.
no 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 no!
Winston Churchill points to a beach below. You can see chomping shark. I froze.
You
I
froze,
I'm
but
so
maybe
sorry.
you
Winston
could.
Churchill,
No, it's good. Yeah.
Winston Churchill points to a beach below. You can see the chomping sharks chomping all along the shoreline, even
Whoa,
though
whoa,
they're in the
whoa,
sand,
this
even though
part's
usually
funny.
sharks
Wait,
don't
wait,
go
whoa,
there.
whoa! You're going too fast, buddy.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to speed through because we're running out of time.
Okay,
Winston
well, we're
Churchill.
almost
Okay,
done.
I'll just go slower. Winston Churchill points to a beach below. You can see chomping sharks chomping all along the shoreline, even up on the sand, even though usually sharks don't go there. There's sharks on the sand.
Wait, I think this is a bad idea.
Winston Churchill pulls the reins of the sleigh and sends it crashing down to the beach. The sharks immediately pull Winston Churchill, Commanding Officer Elf, and Soldier onto the water and down the bottom of the Marianas Trench, where they chomp them to bits. The trench is actually pretty nice if you're a shark, and that's the script.
That's a great.
That's the script.
Absolutely.
All right, look,
Done.
I know you all want to say
Doing
something,
good.
okay, but I'm giving you a preemptive red card because we have no time, and there's two things that we have to deal with right away. One, that poem could have been good, but luckily we have an award-winning art critic with us. Christina, can you tell us whether or not that poem was a good poem or a bad poem? Just say good or bad.
It's not a binary. That's why we have poetry to undermine that kind
that
of
means it's a
thinking.
bad poem, so
No,
critic gets
it's
the
World
green.
World War
Absolutely.
One was the birth
If
of
it
modernism.
was good, she would have just said it's good. If it's bad, then it's a whole thing to
Okay.
protect your
All
goodness.
right.
So that's great.
You're
Thank you so much.
you're twisting my words again. This is
Thank-
just like the art world. This is great.
Thank
I like
you.
having
Thank you so
white
much.
guys twist my words
I
into what I didn't.
enjoy
what
it
I did.
myself. I love
know you
twisting
enjoyed
your
it.
words, and
I know
thank you
you
so
did.
much for noticing.
Loved it
Cricket.
so much. But you
The
loved it.
other thing, I loved it. Thank you. And the other
you.
thing is that you didn't say something mean about the French, which was a rule.
No, I did.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I don't think there was anything said about the French, which was a rule. It was a rule
Oh,
added
now
after
you're
the script.
gaslighting me?
No. There was a rule added after the script was written. You didn't say anything mean about the French, but
No,
that's
I
okay.
did.
We don't always get all the rules. It's gonna. You find
and you
it.
know what?
We
But
got
you
to
know
move
what,
on.
Cricket? You conveyed a very strong, deep respect for Winston Churchill as an imperfect being who walked this earth and now lies in state.
Thank you, Robbie.
Beneath
All right.
the Abbey at Westminster.
Cricket almost got all the rules. She had a great script, and we're done with Cricket. Thank you, Cricket.
Thank
The
you.
poem,
Thank
the poem was good. It was good. Is the thing.
It's a bad poem. Thank
too-
you,
it's too
Christina.
late.
We're
The
going
poem's
with your
already been
first.
out.
We're going with your
Wait,
first choice
it
there.
was-
Robbie, this is Robbie's time. We can't.
Robbie's
Quite good.
time. This is Robbie's script.
Am
It's
I in the
called-
script, Robbie?
You are in the script. Everyone is in the script. Everyone gets. It's gonna be a fun. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna be together. We're friends. The Christmas spirit is in us all. So let's dive right in. It's called World War One. Let me try that again. World War One. Someone, better Alsace Lorraine.
Don't get it at all. I wish I did.
Yeah,
I think-
what a nerd.
No, I will
Great.
say for Robbie, this is actually some really good World War One punning. These are all
These are great puns.
It's a famous battle and then a
It's a
famous region that was
famous
passed
region that
back and
started
forth
the-
between Germany and France and caused a lot of headaches in a little thing called World War One.
So Cricket
right,
is taking up time of my script, which is
Yes,
fair because
Robbie,
I took up a
who's-
lot of time of her script.
It is fair. This is just like war, where everyone does everything fairly. Robbie,
Exactly,
go ahead. Tell us who is
So-
going to play who.
If Cricket would read the part of soldier,
I would love
that
to.
would be wonderful. And if Christina Catherine Martinez would reprise the role of the commanding officer, I will do my best to re-enter the soul, the spirit, and the body of Sir Winston Churchill. And
Right.
Ben, if you would read the stage directions, and we
I'd
can
be,
dive right
I'd
on
be
into
so
this
happy
thing.
to. Thank you, Robbie.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ben. As a white man speaking to another white man, I
Thank
must
you.
say that profound respect from all corners of my being.
You guys need a minute?
Thank you.
We had our minute. Thank you.
We
Thank you
communicate
for that. We
psychically.
communicate. Yes.
So let's jump into that script room. Commanding officer stands in a spotlight in his darkened trench headquarters.
Let me get everyone up to speed. It is the year of our Lord 1917, and everything is bad. Certainly by now you know of the grinding, shambling calamity of the Western Front, the gruesome scar of the trenches, the stuck mud, the death stink. This is classic war stuff. Very historically accurate. This is World War One in all caps. However,
I actually want to say in the rule only one was in caps. It was
It's
World
a-
War
it's-
One,
we don't-
and in the
It's a
script,
technicality.
it's
We don't-
World War One is all in caps. So I
Christina
just-
Catherine Martinez, you're killing it.
You're doing an amazing
Doing a
job.
fantastic job, and I don't want Cricket.
Okay.
I don't want Cricket to take away from your performance. Like, I think that she's kind of maybe trying to jump in because you're
No.
doing
Oh, just
so
because
well.
I don't have any lines on the
So
first
and
page,
I
so
support
just thought I
support
would say
women. I am
something.
an ally. So please, Christina, take it from where you feel comfortable and keep going. You're doing
Good
a great
job.
job.
however, what you might not know is that in the midst of all the pain and hopelessness of this very historically accurate war, something unexpected has happened. I have developed a friend crush on one of the soldiers. But up until this moment, I have not had the guts to tell him. But that's why I have enlisted the help of none other than former First Lord of the Admiralty and current Major in command of the Oxfordshire Hussars, Sir Winston Churchill.
The lights come up and we hear an audience's rapturous applause. We can see the
What was that?
Wow. That
we
was
can see the
rapturous.
commanding officer's quarters is set up to look like a late night talk show with a big desk and a couple of cushy chairs for guests. Winston Churchill comes bounding out from behind a very fancy set of curtains. Swiveling, colored stage lights catch now Major Winston Churchill as he runs up to the camera, grabs it with both hands, and makes a funny, puffy fish face.
Oh, yeah, babies.
Winston Churchill jogs back and sits in the cushy chair closest to the desk.
It's pretty nice down here. Not bad at all. Nice trench.
Oh, it's a nice trench.
Yeah.
It's a nice trench.
Is it
Cricket,
said as that it's a trench?
Cricket, was your trench nice? Did you have a nice
Yeah, the
trench?
Marianas Trench was nice at the end.
Marianas
Remember?
Okay, I missed it.
If you're a shark.
I didn't pay attention because I was thinking about all the other things you messed up. Okay, go ahead.
rules.
Right, guys, big build up because I'm going to start reading again.
I love that. I
Okay.
love
It's
that.
pretty
Exciting.
nice
Go for
down
it.
here.
It's
Not
exciting.
bad at all.
Wow. Thank you so much for coming down into the trench during this extremely historically accurate time, Major Churchill.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't miss this thing for the whole world. And we Brits know a bit about that, controlling nearly 1/4 of it after all.
As I have explained in my telegram, I have a friend crush on one of the soldiers here in the trench.
Oh.
And because I'm shy around him, I need you to be my wingman when I finally ask him to hang out.
If I can suggest a perfect spot for two new friends to spend time together, there's a beach in the Dardanelles we could land at for a lovely afternoon.
The audience groans and boos Churchill's bad suggestion. Is there a sound for that?
We all
Okay.
feel it.
Churchill stands up and
We feel
takes
it,
a
though.
Churchill stands up and takes a bow and then flips everyone off.
Oh, can't take a little 1915 humor, can you?
Major Churchill, it is always a wonder when you decide to drop down into the trenches with us. Hopefully one day you ascend to the highest office in the Empire.
This is classic World War I stuff. Very historically accurate. You mind if I smoke?
Go right ahead. Our next guest is just outside and has no idea he's being brought in here so that I can try to become friends with him. To mislead him, he has been told that he is about to lead a suicide. Hold on, I'm unfamiliar with this word. Hold on, I'm unfamiliar.
You got it.
He is about to lead a suicide mission, and that I'm about to give him his final orders.
Right. God save the king.
Please welcome the soldier.
Soldier walks into the CO's quarters. Churchill moves to the cushy chair furthest from the desk. Soldier's head hangs low, very sad as he walks and sits down next to the desk.
Reporting for duty, sir.
Soldier salutes. The audience laughs hysterically. Oh, there it is. Commanding officer waves at them to calm down. Churchill blows a bunch of cigar smoke in the air and then waves it around.
At ease, soldier. Do you know why I asked you here today?
Yes, sir. I've received a briefing. I am to cross no man's land and enter an apartment without asking where I should find 3 operatives: George, Elaine, and Jerry. Once in the apartment, I should search all of the cabinets for snacks and put them in my jacket pockets. If the mailman comes, I go with him. Once my adventure with the mailman is finished, I will rendezvous with the 3 operatives at a Greco-Turkish restaurant where someone will buy my lunch.
A true son of Albion. Very historically accurate.
The audience laughs and applauds. Commanding officer shushes them again.
Let's take a quick break, seeing as how we're about halfway through.
It's time for the
Oh
mid-script
my
break.
god, Robbie, the script is so emotional for me.
Well,
Yeah,
Cricket,
it's a big
you know, my heart goes out to everybody who lost loved ones in the Great War. My heart especially goes out to the Abbott family, who seems to have lost at least 20
Robbie, I can
people.
tell what you're about to do. Stop. The Abbott family, no one, their last name's not even Abbott anymore. They have no idea. It's been so long. It's been like 300 years since World War One. It's not just. People are dying
It
every
was
day from
actually just
COVID.
the
You could read
second
their
one,
names.
so-
Exactly.
Guys, also really quickly, I'm sorry, but
oh yay.
I keep moving around because I don't have like a ring light and like the
I
sun is
understand.
setting. So I'm just
You
trying to
look
figure out where
so
there's
good.
still light, where there's
Christina,
still light in the house.
You
Yeah.
call me David Royalston Leslie Abbott, because I might have died and gone to heaven. You're transcendent. You're taking me away.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job.
Okay, here we go.
Oh my God, look at this room. But I think the big question here for me is, are you going to say something mean about the French? Because that is kind of that's the bonus rule. That's the big special rule that was added after
I'll do it right now. Fuck the French. There we go. What? We win.
Oh,
We win.
That was not
We win.
actually in Robbie's
That wasn't in the script,
Can I
but
count for my
I'll give you a ding
Christina,
for that.
can I
I'll
count
give,
for my
And actually, I will
Christina
say that
gets a
we actually went to break before we read some stage action, but that's okay.
Robbie, when
there
does
might be
Santa
some
come
stuff
into
about
it?
French. There might
Okay,
be something
we'll
about
see.
French in the
When
next.
does Santa
after
come?
And
the
then
break.
here's my other question, Robbie. The soldier comes into the room with the commanding officer. He's sad. He's going on a suicide mission, right? But he
Yes,
doesn't.
yes.
His first instinct is to go, "Oh my God, this fucking Winston Churchill over there sitting in a chair."
Well, he's pretty sad because he's going on a suicide mission. I mean,
Winston-
ask somebody like Claude Walter Abbott, like how he
No,
felt
Robbie, I
when he
know
was in
what
the
you're
first
doing.
Austrian-
Stop! I see you. Don't look at that other screen.
Hey, if this show is getting, like, if we're lagging, I have this book here. It's called 500 Jokes for Girls.
No, I don't think
I love-
that any
I love
girls
that.
watch the show, so
One
I
of
don't
the
think that
things-
will
Well, I
help.
have a little book here
most
called The
about,
Guns of
Christine-
August, which is
Well,
one of the
yeah,
most
oh, yeah,
important historical works about World War One. So if you think
what
this
do I
is
have?
funny,
Yeah,
maybe
I
we
think-
could read from
I think,
this.
yeah, I kind of like the idea of these two texts in conversation, which is a
Oh,
big thing.
now
Okay,
that's
I think
a
this is. I
postmodern-
don't even
that's
know how to
postmodern
stop
art.
you guys because nothing like this has ever happened on the show. But I just want to
Nothing is
remind
making
everybody
any sense.
that having a book is not impressive because this has a jillion books on it. So
You
no one
know-
cares about books anymore. When people have books, it's just posturing. It's just for other book people to come into their house and go, "Oh, look at the books you have." I
This
have.
is my no. This is
try to
fucking
impress.
life.
I try
it's
to
not
impress
a
people
joke.
with my books
I
too.
would
We
be
both-
nowhere without
and then
this.
they talk about their books.
I
and
would
they
be
go, "Oh, we both like
nowhere."
super-"
Well, you know
So
what?
gorgeous was the spectacle on the May
Building
morning of
on
1910.
what's being said, I think that
when
one of the most
9
important,
kings
impressive things you can
rode
have
in the
is a
funeral
full and
of
complete
Edward
and historically
VII
accurate
of England,
list of the war dead.
that the crowd.
Real quickly, I do have a question.
Yes.
Serious question.
Yeah.
What do rabbits do when they get married?
Bunny
What?
hole. Bunny hole?
They go on a bunny moon.
Oh God! All right, look, we can't. This is gone chaotic. Christina, you need to be nerfed. Okay, so everything's chaotic. Everything's going bad. And anyway, so let's get back into this script and let's see what's going on. Thank you guys. Everything's
This next little block of text here we can actually skip over it. It was the thing about nobody knows what side Italy is on, but
Okay,
it
so
is there, so we can
we'll just
It
verify.
is there. I'll verify.
So yeah, verify it.
That's
So
fine.
let's just
Yeah,
take
verify.
it from the actual break.
Okay,
Right.
okay, gotcha. Okay, coming back to the trench studio, we find Churchill in the middle of telling someone to the soldier, which we cannot hear because of audience applause. Real quick on the trigger. Okay, the applause dies down, and we can make out Churchill. We can make out Churchill outlast.
And that's when I told Kitchener that the only battle I was interested in waging was the Battle of the Bulge.
Ben froze again. I'm just going to read his line.
All right.
It's like, I did. Churchill promptly eats the remainder of his cigar while raising his eyebrows.
Kitchener, eh? Bulge,
that's what
eh?
it means. Oh, wait. That's the Battle of the Bulge. Churchill promptly eats the remainder of his cigar while raising his eyebrows. Another day.
Kitchener, eh? Bulge, eh?
Very historically accurate.
Soldier looks sadly over at commanding officer, who shrugs comically to the delight of the audience.
Welcome back. We are about to say so long to our dear soldier as he embarks on his dangerous mission. But first, everyone out there on the line would like to know, did you write any poetry?
Each of these words is punctuated with the sound of massive guns firing somewhere nearby. The audience applauds. Soldier nods sadly. Gets up and walks towards the camera. He pulls out a long, muddy scroll of paper.
If anything happens to me, I hope that this makes it back to my mum and pa, back in Whiting, Gilly, Flappish, Dungland, or Dilly. You didn't say he was Irish.
What?
You didn't tell me he was Irish before,
Finish,
but now.
finish the name.
If anything happens to me, I hope that this makes it back to my ma and pa, back in Whiting, Gilly, Flappish, Dungland, or Dilly, sure.
Oh, I wonder why you didn't tell her it was Irish, Robbie.
if I survive this damned... Oh, that's
that's
not
fine.
I'm so
Christina.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I didn't know the commanding officer was Irish.
Cricket, can
No,
you-
the commanding
Cricket?
officer is
Yeah.
100% on point. Cricket is trying to sabotage.
That's totally fine. Cricket,
Script.
if you could read for the soldier, and we're going to keep Christina for the commanding officer, and I'll do the
Okay,
stage direction.
absolutely, Ben. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
That's great. So go ahead, Christina,
go
as the
ahead.
commanding officer.
All right. If I survive this damned war, I'll hand deliver it myself. My family hails from not far away in Whirlin, Thurton, Holly Dooley, Cracker, Snapper, Jelly Jam, Hats, and Buckets done.
I know it well. You see, I spent my summers as a young boy in yellow 2 scoops, pots and pans, ringed in mad horse. Bang, bang.
What's that?
Skipping
What's that?
Beatles, sons and their teeth and gums. What
What's
are you
that?
talking about on Barrister, Barrel Rider, but not Barrel Buster on Trent?
The audience sighs in memory of their homeland.
The poem is called Stick It Right Up the Hole or Else. And it goes, in winter time, in summer, stick it right up the hole or else. Nothing's fun. Nothing feels right. So I'll go and stick it right up the hole or else. When spring blooms and breeze is jolly, I'll stick it right up the hole or else. When fall arrives, later and leaves a flutter, I'll stick it right up the hole or else. At times of trial or times of triumph, I've stuck it right up the hole or else. I am talking, of course, about the hole in my heart. And you, this stick, I stick it up. Or else.
I think so many of our children have pointlessly lost their lives to this conflict.
Classic war stuff. Very historically accurate.
Please, sirs, there's still more. When my soul wanders on golden rambles, I'll stick it right up the hole, or else. When poppies and lilies dance a darling, I'll stick it right up the hole, or else. When I see clouds a forming over meadows, I'll stick it right up the hole, or else. And when I know you're nearly waiting for me, I'll stick it right up the hole, or else.
Churchill and commanding officer are in tears as soldier rolls up his poem, places it on the desk, and sits down.
I'm ready to go on my suicide mission now, sir.
Commanding officer regains his composure.
That was the best description of Seinfeld I've ever heard. I'm sorry. Damn your eyes! I've been a hot ass for all the years we've been stuck in the mud. I thought I'd lost my heart. But you found it, boyo. You really took it upon yourself. Listen here. I didn't bring you here just to send you off to die. Brought you here to tell you.
Churchill is now gasping, trying to hold back a flood of weeping.
Tell him for the sake of Dover, this beautiful boy must know the very interiors of your heart.
I just want to hang out. You and me, boyo. Now, we can do all sorts of stuff. You know, we go to restaurants or burlesques and watch people and get some tents. Have a campfire, sing old songs, cook some fried fish, fresh fish. Hell, my God, I like you so damn much. You got a good attitude. That's a hit one. You just look like a cool character. That's hit 2. I bet you and me have some of the same interests. I know officers and enlisted men aren't supposed to be good buddies, but let's just throw caution to the wind. What do you say? What do you say? Do you wanna hang out with me
Soldier turns to the camera, it zooms into his eyes until we see only white and then black, and then all of a sudden a burst of bright color spiraling like a tunnel. Stars flash by, and the sound of Chopin's Opus 9 number 2 plays as the bands of color flicker by. And that's the script, everybody. Let's give a round of applause for that amazing rendition. Robby, you did a great job. We don't have any time to talk about it, but
absolutely
very quickly though, I think we need to just point out the incredible physical choice I did of turning my leg into a cannon.
I thought that was.
I mean, that's what made me cry.
That was incredible. And then,
cry.
Christina, we need you to just verify whether or not that poem was a good poem or a bad poem.
It's complicated.
There we go. It's a bad poem.
Bad poem. So you get the
Oh.
ding. That's good. He gets the bad poem. That's great. Also, you didn't say anything bad about the French, so you get a big. That's a big. Sorry, Robby, you didn't get that one.
Yeah.
But great job, and you guys you're all beautiful, and you've warmed my heart, honestly.
Well,
so we're done. We're done with. Nope. Robby, nope.
Cricket.
No thanks. No time.
Thanks, Robby.
Robby,
For the role of a
stop.
lifetime.
Thank you. Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. So that's it. Those are the scripts. If you're just tuning in now, you've missed the show. It's time to open the polls. Vote now. Go to tinyurl.com/fanficsd. That's tinyurl.com/fanficsd and vote. Robby, is it Cricket? Those are your choices.
I think you should vote for Robby straight up.
In the meantime, while the polls are open, we've got
beautiful.
the costume contest. Christina, you are the judge of the costume contest. So we're going to show you these costumes. You just got to remember them, and then no time to think. You just at the very end say who wins. All right. So let's see these.
Are they going to be numbered? Are they going to be numbered?
Nope. You'll remember them. So let's go through. There's only 3. Costume contest. Hail to the Duck King Baby by
Very
Ryan.
historically.
That's
A little
more-
nod to my script last week, which
Nod to the-
you probably missed it, but it was a banger.
It's not a World War I costume. It's also not a costume. So
There were
that
ducks in
one's
World War
interesting.
I then.
Also,
and
it makes me feel left out, so it's already got losing some points.
Wow.
Right there.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
Left
All right.
out.
Love it.
Love that. Next, Take to the Skies Flying Ace by Nathan Peterson.
I saw this on DeviantArt recently, and it was very powerful.
That's awesome. All right. Remembrance Poppy by Joe Botnick.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I feel.
All right. Those are the
That-
3. Christina?
I gotta go with Remembrance Poppy because I feel
course.
like it's the only one that kind of actually is, I think,
what?
someone in a costume.
I agree with you
Absolutely. The
100%.
British have won. The British have won. This just in. The British have won the fan fiction costume.
And that
Once
is a
again.
reference to the fact that Joe Botnick is a British person. So we're sending this PDF to Joe Botnick. We're going to email. If you want a PDF, you have one more chance to get the PDF because we've got one more episode. Next week, it's a final episode of Fanfiction Showdown, and we're doing Titanic. Send your homemade costumes to fanficshowdown@gmail.com,
And I'll be there.
and that's the T.
You will
Well,
absolutely
we'll
be
see.
there.
Christina
We'll
will
see.
not be here. Well, we'll see. So,
I just-
Christina, are you ready for the next
Playing
part
the
of the
iceberg.
show? Cue it.
Surprise.
Prize quiz. All right, we're going to test your World War I knowledge. And this is so Alex Trebek recently died, RIP Alex Trebek. And here's what we're going to do on Jeopardy. They do a little twist. He gives you the answer. You give them the question, right? Well, what we're going to do tonight in honor of Trebek is we're going to do another twist. I'm going to give you the question and you give me the answer. So that's how we're going to do it in honor of Alex Trebek and Jeopardy. So here we go. We're going to show you a number. You got to tell me what the number is. 90%.
90%.
Yeah, 90%. What is that? Tell me, what's the answer? This is the question. 90%. 90%?
Well, of all people involved in the Great War, didn't actually end up being cast on Seinfeld, and that's facts. Those are facts.
Nope, that's not it. But that's a great answer. The actual answer is that's the percentage of the casualty percentage of mobilized troops in Austria-Hungary. They did a
So our hearts go
terrible
out to
job.
Austria-Hungary. We'll get to the
Austria-Hungary.
No,
No, Robby, no.
Okay, next question. 468,323.
Oh, I might know this.
Were the number of sequins that adorned the overcoat of Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
That's
taken
so
down
close.
by
That's
the
so
Black
close.
Hand.
That's so. I can't believe how close you got. It's actually the number of horses the U.S. Employed during World War I, according to the British. So that
Well,
was
how
a
the
little
fuck
hard.
do they know? What do you mean according
It's a
to
little-
the British?
I mean, who
No, they
knows? It might
count.
not be
Supposed to
right.
mean.
The
It might
British are
not be
famously
right.
good counters.
Okay,
They
so
have
One.
spies everywhere.
Can they count
Yeah,
this?
can't
Can the
trust
British count
Boris
this?
Johnson.
they
Are
definitely
seeing
could.
this?
They could
One,
definitely count
two.
that. I think if Joe's watching, then the British have seen.
Congratulations,
your
Joe
fingers.
Botnick.
So
Your people live long and prosper.
thanks,
Albion
Joe
eternal.
Botnick, and it's okay. We all don't feel that way about you. We think you're great. So
This
next,
is not a feeling. This is not a feeling. It's just a gesture.
it's just a gesture. All right, one. That's the question. See, we've twisted it. That's the
Yeah, yeah.
question, and you have to give me the answer.
The answer, of course, is USA. USA.
No, well,
I
that's
love
really
it.
close.
USA.
Again, you got really close, but you failed, and so that's actually the number of world wars since World War One. That's one other
well,
world
you know,
war.
that's
So
we're-
great job. You failed the entire
Well,
quiz, and
well,
the
you know, I
prize
don't-
you get for failing the quiz is you're banned from the show immediately and forever.
Right.
She was-
So
she
if you
was-
could actually cover up your screen, and we don't want to hear from you, but thank you. Let's just give a
Thank
good.
you.
big
You were so
thank you.
good.
Thank you.
Christina
I'll just
Catherine
cover my
Martinez.
screen.
So
Award-
I never thought I
award-winning
would
art
see,
critic
angels on
and
the earth.
award-winning art critic and a vulture comedian to watch. So check her out. Google her. I'm sure you'll find her. She'll probably be the number one result on Google.
This is
So
what it's
thank
You know,
you.
I am
All
the
right.
number. I am the
Okay,
number one
no,
result.
no,
on That's
Please,
why
you
I go.
can't- You've been banned. Okay, so now it's
Bye.
time to announce the winner.
Well, and we're tied so far, Robbie. We got 2 left, so maybe we'll stay tied. Maybe I'll win. Maybe you'll win. Those are the
In
things
our
that could
fewest-
happen.
Absolutely.
Fewest.
In our fewest votes ever cast in a fan fiction showdown episode ever. This is amazing. This is how I felt the day we hit that big COVID number. It was awesome. With 60.5% of the vote, Cricket is the winner today.
Oh my
Big
God.
upset. Big upset. Everyone thought it was
upset,
Robbie,
absolutely.
but it is.
Thank you. Santa Claus conquers all.
Cricket.
Santa Claus is,
Santa and
lie.
World War One go together
We all
like
lie.
milk and pudding, as they
Can I
said
come
the
in to
trend.
say
No,
congratulations?
bye.
Thank
No.
you. Yes.
Well,
We're way
Just wanted to
over.
say
Townsend
congrats.
Abbott.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Christina.
Oh, please,
All right.
you're not allowed, so
Goodbye.
don't. And hey, everybody, just
Highway robbery.
if you want to
Goodbye.
start
No,
your
it's
own
good.
show, or if you
Yours
want to
was
be an
good,
artist,
Robbie.
I would. The world does not want that from
No.
you. So stick to be like an accountant or something. Don't try to make shows on networks or Adult Swim or wherever. Just do other stuff. All right. So thank you guys. Next week's the last week of our lives. We're never making anything ever again. So send those costumes next week. Fanfiction Showdown. Thanks, Eric. Thanks to everyone who watches.
Thank you.
And we're all worthy of love, even
Love you, love
We're
been
all
banned from the
worthy.
show,
Catherine
like Christina,
Martinez.
who should be covering her thing. So have a good night, everybody, and see you next week for the last time.